Hello, and welcome to the Shiba Chat Show. This is your podcast for all things Shiba Inu. On Shiba Chat, you will learn about health, training, education, nutrition, grooming, art, owner stories, and experiences about our beloved, fluffy, and natural monument of Japan, the Shiba Inu. We will be helpful and fun, full of guests like Shiba owners, trainers, nerds, and experts from around the globe. Now, here is your host, directly from Portugal, Charlie Mancini.
Hello and welcome to our 7th episode of the Shiba Chat Show. Bernardo Conti is a Shiba breeder who lives in a beautiful farm not far away from Florence, Italy. He has been breeding dogs for 46 years, first with the Border Collies and from 1994 until now with the Shiba Inu. Bernardo talked about how he first came in contact with the Shiba Inu, his priorities and duties as an experienced breeder, like the ethics, the importance of the Shiba's character, type and construction, or even genetics. According to our guest, to be a good Shiba Inu breeder, you need to have a high sense of beauty and never forget to follow the FCI Standard for this breed. Since our guest spoke for more than an hour, we have decided to split this episode in 2 parts. Please find more information about Bernardo Conti's channel at facebook.com/PoggioPetrolio. Shiba Chat. Ok, Bernardo, grazie mille for being...
Grazie a te di avermi invitato.
Okay, grazie. So, what were the initial steps for you to become a Shiba breeder? Tell us all about your experience, please.
I've been a breeder since I'm born, because I'm born in a family where my father was a breeder too. And I was breeding collies, very successful. Then a day, we had 3 collies going to UK at the time of the quarantine, and they went to a very well-known judge, breeder of collies, called Stella Clark. And Stella Clark take care of our dog to do the quarantine and then to be shown in UK. We went once to see the dogs because the quarantine was quite long. And me, normally, I wake up very early in the morning. I mean, always around 5 o'clock I wake up. And I say to Stella, tomorrow morning, when I wake up very early, can I go down and take a coffee myself without waking up no one? And she said, yes, fine. So in the morning, I wake up early and I went down. I start to do my coffee in a filter machine like in UK they have. Mm-hmm. And suddenly, I saw something around. And there was some stairs, you know, these typical English British stairs. And there was a Shiba Inu female staying like a Japanese piece of soul. I mean, I was a breeder. I mean, I'm born in Canada. I didn't know the Shiba. I mean, I was already breeding like, I don't know, 10 world champion at that time. I mean, I've been showing for years. So I turned myself and I look at this dog, and I didn't see this dog the evening before. So I look at this dog, and in the moment that she was looking at me, I was looking at her, and she was trying to hide, in the sense that like she didn't see me. Then she went. Then Stella came down, I had my coffee, and I was still thinking, what the dog is this? Because I was thinking it was the mongrel of the family, you know, because I mean, she was a breeder, judge of rough collies, 45 years breeding. She judged crafts. So I was thinking it was not a breed. I was thinking it was just a Buffy. See, Buffy. I was thinking she was just the pet of the family, you know. So I speak with Stella. Stella, she told me that it was a Shiba Inu. And I didn't know what was a Shiba Inu. I mean, I said, what is a Shiba Inu? It's a primitive dog from the 5th group, Japanese. etc., etc. At that time, I speak about the 94, 93, there was no Shiba Inu in Europe. There was just Marashima, Vilma Sanderman, very good friend of mine, that she was starting to breed. Anyway, the day after, when she come down, the dogs come and say, she explained me technically what it was a Shiba Inu and how it was. And I was falling so in love with that breed. I was so in love that I said, Stella, between breeders sometimes can happen, or good dog people. I said to Stella, listen, Stella, but can I buy this dog? Because I'm really in love with this dog. And she said, well, if the price is right, the bell will ring. Because she was English champion, I think. I remember she was English champion. And so I got a little bit worried about that, because when the bell is, when the
Bernardo,
price
which year was it? 19...
That was 94, I think. I think 94.
Okay.
And in Italy, there was before me a German breeder that she lived in Naples, that she had Akita, and she had some Shiba because she had contacts with the Akita people in Japan, and she takes some Shiba too. But she was not really making a line, let's say. She was doing some litters. Then I bought this bit. She was bred by Tapina, by Malcolm and Chris Schacht, Kennel Tapina in the UK, and they're a very good friend of mine. He's an international show judge. He has judged class more than once. Shiba is authorized, I don't know for how many breeds, but anyway, he was a collie breeder too, very successful. Now he's a guy, he's 80 years old. Anyway, we did all the papers, and 2 days after, I went by car. We drive down to Europe with this new dog in the car. When we arrived to the border, at that time there was a quarantine. The people was, mad about foxes. No, they was mad, the British people. So when I arrived there, the guy of the port asked me, do you have something to declare? I said, oh yes, I have the dog, but I had all the papers. So he was coming near the van and they gave me the paper. I said, can I look at the dog? So I was open the crate. She was an adult bitch. And anyway, she looked at the dog and said, I'm sorry, but this is not a dog. He said, sorry, sir, why you say it's not a dog? This is a fox. Anyway, it was, but it's not a story. It was right. I had a wood box, and he called a vet. So it was coming an old vet with a jacket. It was bad weather, and he opened the crate and he started to check the dog in the mouth, etc. And at the end, he said, no, this is a dog. This is not a fox. And that was the first. Then I came in Italy, and I met that bitch with a Vermont dog that was living in Italy. It was called Vermont Tonkatoi. Not Vermont, sorry, it's not a Vermont. It was a Marashima Tonkatoi, not at all Vermont. I never had I just had one line that they have a Vermont, but I started the first litter with Marashima Tonkatoi. He was world champion, Italian international champion. Was a dog not particularly bright, not particularly beautiful, but it was a very good sized dog. You know what is the problem? That at the beginning, the dogs, the Shiba, they had very good size. Now, moving on, the Shibas, they are not the right size, because Shiba, they have to be small, not big at all. Shiba Inu means small dog. And you know why they're all the same, the Japanese dog? Because Japan is island, and so it didn't come by swimming. You know what I mean? And if you think, if a Shiba is not small, is a defect of type, because the standard of the Shiba Inu is 39.5. There is no other standard in more than 500 breeds that is defined on 0.5. So what means this? That the dog needs to be small.
Okay, we are having some internet issues.
You're still there.
So you were, this is so funny.
I'm sorry,
Because you were saying
I'm very passionate, but
has to be small. It was funny.
Shiba Inu needs to be small.
Small.
You
So
know,
maximum size would
small
be
size,
how
small
many centimeters,
size.
Bernardo?
A Shiba Inu cannot be more than 39.5 with the tolerance for a male of 1.5 centimeter. That means cannot be more than 41.
41 centimeters for the males.
Not 42, not
Okay.
43.
Okay.
You know, the problem, for example, in Italy, she's a very nice girl because she's near 6 months. She's not big. You know, the Japanese, they say that a Shiba Inu has to be carried by hands by a Japanese woman. And Japanese women, they're very small. They're not tall. You know, they're little people. They're not tall people.
Yes.
So then I start with that litter. First litter, I made Marashima Tonkatoi with this Tapina bitch that she was called Tapena Isoko. And I got one of the best litter of my life. One was champion Dolce Nero di Poggio Petrorio. It was a dog that has got hundreds of champion titles. It was best in show in Gothenburg. It was a dog that at that time, there was no Shiba. So when you went on the ring, okay, there is no concurrence on the normal ring. But when you go in the main ring, in the group, if the dog was a nice dog and some good judges, brave judges, you know, they was taken up first. Because at that time, there was few dogs around, but the type, the quality, the construction was exceptional, not the character. The problem at that time was the character because, you know, there was all Japanese dogs. There was not... and so from that first champion Dolce Nero di Poggio Petrorio and champion Coracanè di Poggio Petrorio. Coracanè, he was a Europe champion, he was Italian champion, he was international champion, and he was second in the group at the Europe Championship show was in Vienna that year, in Vienna in Austria. And then I start to breed the dogs because I'm a breeder. Fundamentally, I prefer to breed the dogs and not to show the dogs. My life has been dedicated to the dogs. I mean, I'm born. I mean, I do other jobs, I do other things, but when I come home, I love my dogs. I love my country life. I love I love nature. I mean, I'm not an animalist because animals for me are animals. They're not better than human because otherwise this dog will be a human that try to go, and here I will be a Shiba Inu holding and saying that you know that's for me very important.
Yeah.
You know.
So what's your mission as a breeder? Do you want to improve the Shiba Inu breed since you've started doing this type of breeding with them, with this specific breed?
My responsibility and ethics, because I'm a dog lover, I'm a Shiba lover, and I'm an old experienced breeder from other breeds. I've been in the Kennel Club. I've never become judge because I don't like to lick dirty bottoms. And so, you know what I mean? They was asked me to buy that I'm very authentic. I mean, I try to listen people. I say that, I mean, as a breeder, I have the responsibility to be a dog lover. I have the responsibility to have an ethic, because ethic is obliged to have with humans, nature, and animals. Then if you have also with other things, you are a good person, but the minimum that you have to have is to have it with them, with you or with the people, and of course with yourself. And my main meaning after many years of breeding Shiba is to maintain the type and not change the type, maintain the size, maintain the number of teeth, but overall, and the construction, of course, because the construction is the main thing in a dog. But overall, I want to improve and maintain the line that I've built for many years in character, because Shiba Inu is very important that they are well bred technically for health, but also for character. And character doesn't mean they have to be sweet. No, they have to be intelligent, because it's a primitive breed, is a hunting breed, is a Asiatic breed. So if all this stuff is not connected with brain, it became a very heavy dog to have it. So the main thing is type, construction, character. And of course, also numbers of animals that you produce. Because I'm quite an old kind of breeder, I don't believe in breeders with small kennels. Because if you want to influence the breed in a good way, you have to have the numbers. Because more numbers you do it, and more people you can choose it, because you are anyway a big kennel. So the selection go to the end and choose the right person for the right dog. In the sense that if, Shiba Inus, there's something very similar, but each Shiba is a different character. One is more funny, one is more shy, one is more arrogant, another one is a little bit nasty, another one is a pain in the ass. Then you have a bitch that she's the queen. She decided. I think when you start to go a little bit more through the size, the type, and the technical part, you become again a dog lover. That is the main thing on breeding dogs on the long term. And you have to have, of course, the people that buy your dogs, because I remember at the beginning when I was starting, I couldn't give the dogs to anyone. When people come, my friends, I was giving 1, 2, 3 Shiba if they have a garden. It's so important for a breeder when the breed is making a boom, not to do too much, but to choose lines, clients, stud dogs, testing dogs, because there you have the chance to experiment, if you have a good number of lines already, new lines in good numbers. And so then you can give to the breed a contribute. This is my main idea, because, I've been breeding more than 1,500 Shiba on my life.
I think that's a world record.
This. You know why I know? Because some months ago I phoned to the Kennel Club for some papers, and there was a little stupid girl on the phone, and she said, "Yes, hello. I'm Bernardo Conti. Blah, blah, blah." I said, "Listen, I'm to look at these papers and all." And she said, "Oh yes, I go on your page." And so she go on my page, and she said, "But do you know how many dogs have you bred?" I said, "No idea, really, honestly." And so she say a number like 1,645, capito? In a way they say, "How you do it?" And I say to her, "But look, when I start to breed 46 years ago," you know what I mean? So the guy, so what I mean, what I want to say, Shiba Inu is a fabulous breed, has to be bred well, better than other breeds. Because if you breed not well like a poodle, nothing happens. The dogs will be a little bit dumb, or the dogs will be a little bit dirty. But if you bred bad a Shiba Inu, you don't touch a Shiba. You know, I saw some dogs importing from Japan, because you know what is the problem? That in Japan, they take the dogs just in some cages, and it's a big business for them. And so, how the dog can, from generation to generation, have a good character, because in genetics there exists something that is called hypogenetica. Hypogenetic is something that modify the gene in the habitat where the animal live or the human live. And this gene get modified not just on the one subject, but this subject, it will carry that. Japanese people, I have a very nice dog here from Japan, is a Rikyu Kuruma, is Kagemasa Rikyu Kuruma, is the son of the famous Kagetora Rikyu Kuruma, called Shadow. Is one of the most famous Shiba Inu in the story of the breed recently. It was a dog bred by Rikyu Kuruma, and it was black and tan. He called Kagetora. It was called Shadow. It was a beautiful dog. I have a son of him. But when I think, and he's a top quality dog, but when I think, what is the character of Ashi? And what is the care of my dogs? I said, I prefer my dogs, because my dogs are more friendly. They're very stable in character. They're very proud. They're very well built. When a dog is well built and he can stay on his four legs well for 24 hours a day, his character will be better. Because if I have a knee that is not working, I will be a little pissed off of people, situation, Just think about a dog that is well built and he can do what he think like a primitive dog in a very quick way. What it will give this to him? Less frustration. So his character will be better. And I'm sure that if breeders, they don't just think about showing or selling the dogs, and they start really to go deeply in the behavior on a primitive dog, not just on a show dog, but they're so intelligent. When they're well bred, they're so bright. They're so, they look at the door and they look at you and say, please open the handle. Come on, quick. There's some really, connection. Or, me, I'm a photographer, I'm a professional photographer. So sometimes I stay here and I work on my photos, and then behind me, 4 Shiba sleeping, 5 Shiba sleeping. They are the dogs that they stay home. And my wife, she's sleeping. I'm doing my photos. It come deep night. I need to go to the loo. I have to have a glass of water. So I stand, I turn, and I see these 4 Shiba all 4 looking at me like this, boom. And they think, what the f*** are you doing? Perhaps it's half an hour they're looking at me. So in the moment that I say to them, are you looking at me? They turn the other way. And they say, you don't exist. This is the Shiba Inu. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They're twisting the thinker in a way that they show off their equilibrium. That at the end is energy. Because at the end, if you think animals or humans, that we live on a world that turn woo, 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 on an orbit, and everybody's looking for equilibrium, stability. Mm-hmm. That's bullshit. We are just energy. Because in a planet that work like our planets,
it's always moving.
How we can stay in equilibrium? What does it mean? We just have to follow the energy. And this is the meaning of the Shiba Inu. You have to follow their energy to understand what are the limits and what there is the things that they are deep in their DNA. They can run away because they smell an animal. Bam, they go. But they can be very obedient. You know,
If they want to. If they want to.
If you put the condition where they can stay comfortable.
Okay.
They're very stubborn. Cioè, they need a leadership, they need a leader, but the leader has to be like they want, you know, and that's the trick. Cioè, when you have your first Shiba, you have all the time to see him growing up, having at home, and they become like a machine. If you train him, he become fantastic. I mean, clean, silent, obedient. But all these things he's doing, not for you, he's doing for him. Because he comes to a point that he understands that he has you. Cioè, in the sense that you are totally depending on him. And then he starts to be a Shiba Inu, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah,
I tell you this because I bred a lot of Shiba. AFC, a lot of people, clients, families, young people, young couple, any kind of good people, dog lovers, that they was worried to take the puppy, to have care of the puppy. I always follow the people the first year because that's my duty.
Yes,
because if the persons, they don't make not problem, but if they're more clear and they can prevent and they can take for sure what I said to people, don't do like this, do it another way. Yes, but no, I don't explain. Or you trust me or you don't trust me, because it's a sort of mosaic that you have to do the first years, and then at the end, if you've done well, stop clock, and then you have your Shiba, you know.
I see.
Right.
Know. Yeah, then you have your Shiba. Okay.
You have, because imagine a person from zero to become an adult past 20 or 25 years. A dog past 1 year. So they're changing, they're much quicker.
Yeah, it's faster.
You know, the range
development.
So it doesn't do something today because it do something today because it's 3 months. It doesn't do the same things in 2 weeks because it's nearby 4 months, you know. And then he's the owner, you know, he's the bright owner that look at his dog and he give information for what he can understand. It's like if you have a little boy of 6 years old, he cannot put on your car, you know. So if you ask him to do something that he cannot do it would be frustrating for him. Instead, if you say to him, can you please bring me the keys of the car without doing nothing, then he start to get closer. But the Shiba is the same. If you play with a ball, if you play with a stick, if you play with another dog, he needs his different way in different time to relate with the situation that he will take experience to become a dog. And the responsibility is by the owner. The point is that with experience, I've seen a lot of people. I have the experience to give the right dogs, because at the end, when the client, a person or a Shiba lover go home and is with his puppy, is alone with his puppies. So you have done your best to breed him for selection, for character, for health, and also the way you touch the puppies from the beginning is all I don't know. I mean, I love people that they love what they're doing. I love breeders that they love the breeding, not just the showing, because showing is such a bullshit. One day you won the group, the day after you do second in your class, and the dog is not worst 1 week after, So that's the thing. I've always been very convinced that Shiba Inu, they will be one of the most popular breed in the world. And this is coming because I saw like a dog person at the beginning, like 40 years ago, I don't know, 35, that Shiba, it was something special. If we could make them with better character, because when I started, they were very difficult character, very difficult. I got a lot of bites. If you look at my hands, there have been bites 100 times, because it was tough dogs. Then you start to make selections. You exclude all the dogs that you don't like because they're not bright, they're dumb. Because I have a very good place to breed the dogs because I'm living here, and the space is very big. The dogs are in the house, and big runs around. So when you have 30 Shiba, and there is one or two that they're not fitting well in a good habitat like the others, means they're dumb. Not they just, you know what I mean? Because, if you give quality of life to many animals with the care, people, with everything they're needing, so you can consider that in some periods they have different character for the age, near the season, when they're young, but then they have to stabilize. It's like if you and me, they put in a flat, we will speak about Shiba for a while, and then we'll speak about some other things, You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And this is what we, honestly, is my ambitions on breeding. Is the totality of quality in an animal. Quality technically, character, health, brain, intelligence, sensibility. And at that point, you can start to divide the different character of the dogs. So one is more funny, one is more like this. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's like ourselves as an individual. I know friends that are a bit boring. There are other people that are very funny, and they don't laugh, but we laugh at them because of their face or their facial expression.
Because we are all different. I mean, trees, human, animals, plants. I mean, have you never seen an olive tree exactly the same like another? No.
Yeah, of course.
And you know why? Because it's time passing on things alive. Because 10 years ago, you was not like this. Me neither.
I didn't have a mustachon. Bigode. We say bigode in Portuguese.
I love Portugal.
Yes, Portugal is a great place, and the popularity of Shiba Inu is starting right now, maybe 3-4 years ago.
You are listening to the Shiba Chat Show, your podcast for all things Shiba Inu, celebrating the Doge community around the planet. Feel free to share this podcast with your friends and follow Satoshi, Charlie Mancini Shiba, at Instagram.com/Satoshi.theshiba. The show will continue right now.
How you get hooked by the Shiba? How you went hooked?
That's a great question, sir. I don't know. I always was a cat person, and we had cats in our family. And then this urge starting to arise. because we have seen Shiba Inus, like we have seen the tale of Mari and three puppies. We've seen Achiko. It's Akita, but when they
Yeah,
film,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
But,
Shiba
but
baby.
you've been in contact with some Portuguese breeders.
Yes, so far I had one guest on this show. Is from Aveiro, and yeah, he breeds occasionally. But the most official breeder is Senhor Joaquim, Mr.
What is
Joaquim from
what is
Monte
the
Maninho.
what is the kennel name?
Monte Maninho.
Ah, sì, molto menino.
Monte Maninho em Vila Nova de Gaia, near Porto.
Why you went to Alberto?
Why?
Why
Because
you
I've seen him. I've seen his puppies on the Facebook Shiba Inu Portugal group.
okay, okay.
Okay, and I've seen him posting the dogs, and I was like,
But you're not been to him.
no, I never been with him, and I will pick Satoshi, our puppy, next month by the end of month. I have arranged everything with him.
But you go or
I
someone
will
take her?
go. I will go to Toledo. Yes, to Toledo.
He doesn't have a lot of dogs, Alberto. He's not a big breeder. He has
Yeah.
6 or 7 dogs. I've
Okay.
been, me, I like how he's doing, Alberto, because he loves dogs of substance.
Uh-huh.
They're better to me. They're better than males. I mean, I've used Urus on 22 beaches now, so I've seen a lot of puppies on him.
Mhm.
He's a dog of high quality, really high quality. He's
Yeah.
giving really something good of the breed for the breed.
Yeah, Urus. Yeah, he told me great things about that dog.
Nice dog.
Yeah,
I
last
like
week we spoke on the phone, and Alberto was saying that he has great things to tell about that dog and other
He has done
dogs.
very well. He has done very well. He has done. I've never show him, but I will show him because now we are showing Skywalker, the black and tan dog.
Ah,
Have you
yes,
seen?
I've seen on your Facebook page. Yes.
We're showing him. He's doing very well. We went to Montenegro. He won 3 FCI titles
Mhm.
and qualification for crafts, and he won the group one
Okay.
day, and he won second in the group the second day.
How is his character? Is he funny? Is he serious? Is he
Allora,
proud?
Skywalker is a son of my bitch and my dog that is called Britta, and a champion dog that Carolina has bred by me that is called Red Nicky Shiba di Poggio Petroio. Allora, the character of Skywalker, la Carolina, she's a top owner. She's a vet. She's a super handler. She doesn't understand how to handle the dog very well. She's very precise. She gives super food to the dog. She baths the dog. She take care of really. And she's very in contact with the dog. Allora, is a dog that is so just one person dog for Carolina. For me, is a little bit, don't touch me, don't do it.
I
But is a
see.
little bit the character of Carolina
Prima
as per.
donna, a bit.
Ma vaffanculo, va.
Okay,
I
I
like
see.
a little more rough dogs.
Okay, I
I
see, I see. You prefer that kind. Concerning this puppy mill cycle of cruelty we have seen in the last years, what do you think is the way to try to stop that kind of breeding? Because
Well,
it's the wrong breeding.
I think all the commercial breeders, all the people that take bad care of the dogs, that's criminals because no one is obliged to have an animal. And if you want to make money out of an animal, you have to respect the rights of the animal. You're not to, I'm not this kind of guy that say that you're not to make money out of your breeding or whatever, but you have to do it on the respect of an animal.
Yeah.
Allora, to stop this way, there is just two ways. Law, that is very difficult because, law in Italy is very difficult. And breeders that they don't sell to people, that they're not people they can give the guarantee to have a dog for 15 years. Because when a person comes in a kennel and want to buy a puppy, they won't guarantee that we give a good dog, etc. But we want the guarantee that this person is taking the good care of this dog. Because if we are speaking about alive things, of course I have to guarantee it with my breeding and genetic test anyway. You have to guarantee back what is needing for the dogs.
Yeah.
When I always say to people, when you go in a kennel and you don't know nothing about dogs, how you know that you will get a good Shiba or a bad Shiba? Very, very simple. If you go in a kennel and you see 30 dogs, and you see 30 dogs that the majority, you don't like it for one reason or another one. Also, if you don't know why, be sure that you will get one of that. Because this breeder, if he has more dogs that you don't like it than dogs that you like it, means that he doesn't have the dogs for him. So how he can give it to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he will keep the best ones and give it away. The other.
I mean, when you go, because when you go in a breeder to a breeder of any breed, and you see many dogs, and you're a dog person, and you say that, yes, but I really don't like it all, means that this guy doesn't have it for him. Oh, he will never have it because or he doesn't work well, or he just do it for money, or he doesn't have the talent to do it. Because I know breeders, they are 40 years, they're breeding, and they don't know a shit of what they're doing. They're
So, do
still
you
going.
think this is like an art form to
I
breed
think,
dogs?
I think breeding is not a science. It's supported by genetic, so you have to know about genetic. You have to have a sense of beauty and equilibrium, because at the end, the beauty of a dog is not just a part of the dog, but is the dog in this complete, like an almost, is the harmony in a standard. And of course, more you breed, more you have the eye and more you have the experience. So you know that from some kind of dogs, there will come some kind of combination, and puppies, there will come that kind of. And you say, how you know it? Because you know the genetic. No, because I know the dogs. I know that if a dog, if it's not well built, for example, and the construction is made by many things, and you put a dog because he has a good head, but it's not well constructed, built, mechanically, you will got a middle head and you will destroy a part of a very important thing that is done by many things.
Okay.
Because it's done by the shoulder, it's done by the length, by the hips, by the angulation, by the size, by the setting of the tail, by the longest of the neck, many, many things. That's what I. So at the end, is very important to look in a general view, the breeding, and not in just specific. Another thing that I think is very bad is when people try to anticipate the type, because type, allora, first of all, that is very important. Allora, many breeders in Europe, they follow the Japanese system, but we are FCI breeders, and we are not Japanese breeders. So our boss, let's say, is the FCI, and the FCI make a standard, and this standard, we have to read it well. First of all, we have to know the words, because some people, they don't know words. Cioè, if you say la struttura metopica ben marcata, if you ask to some breeders, many breeders, they don't know what is struttura metopica or what is sternocleidomastoideo. check.
Sternocleido mastoideo. It's the same in Portuguese.
Are you a doctor?
No. But everyone says that because of an old movie from the 40s here in Portugal. So it's like sternocleido mastoideo. Olá, mamma mia.
Shiba Chat.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Shiba Chat Show. And now it's time for you to go play with a Shiba Inu. If you would like to get in touch, please send us an email to shibachatshow@gmail.com. Bye for now.